The air thrummed with power like that of a roiling storm. Glancing below, a chill sank into my limbs. 1,000 or more black-armored soldiers sailed upon violet clouds, a creeping shadow across the sky. They were eerily silent, with neither a clink nor rustle, and I cursed their shrewdness in shielding their movements. The dragon flew ahead until we had almost passed them. The soldiers at the front wore gleaming bronze helmets studded with onyx. As they raised their palms, shimmering waves of light streaked forth. The energy pulsing through the air thickened, an opaque mist forming with crimson glints tucked in its folds like scattered drops of blood. It swirled through the night, thin tendrils clawing at my skirt. A heavy sweetness suffused my senses, laced with an unpleasant tang of spoiled fruit, my lungs clogging as though I had choked on smoke. A dullness settled over my mind. I shivered, wrapping my arms around myself as my head swiveled from side to side, trying to make sense of my unfamiliar surroundings. Where was I? How did I get here? And what were those lights darting through the sky like scarlet raindrops? My gut tightened at the sight of the creature that carried me so swiftly, of inky scales and golden claws, its whiskers streaming behind like silken ribbons. Magnificent, terrifying, though strangely familiar. A picture I had seen before, perhaps. Where was it taking me? I fumbled for my bow to defend myself, to demand an answer, but the creature swerved up, soaring higher to where the sky was black and clear. Half frozen with fright, I clutched instinctively, the wind lashing my face as I sucked in a ragged breath. How fresh the air which filled my lungs now, expelling the cloying sweetness. My mind cleared, though I was still reeling from shock. I didn't know you, I told the dragon. I thought you were an enemy. I almost shot you. Its silvery voice chimed in my head. The confounding mist is an enchantment of the mind. Its victims can't distinguish friend from foe. Their memories blurred for as long as they inhale it. While less powerful than compulsion, this enchantment can spread far wider. Across an army? The Celestials would be defenseless against this, trapped as butterflies in a net. How can we protect ourselves? A shield? Only the strongest of shields would work. The mist can find its way through the slightest crack or crevice. Such a thing cannot be easily dispelled, but you can evade it, disperse it, or cleanse it from the heavens. Beneath us now the desert gleamed burnished gold, the vast crescent of land which lay beneath the demon realm and the rest of the immortal realm. Hundreds of lights flickered just ahead, campfires fading in the dawn. Relief swept through me as I was not too late. The celestial army had not yet marched. As we descended, the soldiers' heads swung to the black dragon, their fear mingling with awe as we landed in a cloud of billowing sand. I slid off its back, stumbling onto the ground. Only then did a few soldiers turn toward me as though just noticing my presence. "Wait," the black dragon commanded. Its jaws parted, its pale breath rippling like frost across the bracelets which shackled me. The metal fractured, falling to the sand in shards. I rubbed my wrists to warm them. How wonderfully light they were, unbound. "Thank you for everything," I told it gratefully. The black dragon inclined its head in return. With a graceful leap into the air, it took flight toward the eastern sea, its scales glowing like embers in the light of the rising sun. Only then did I notice the soldiers encircling me. My greeting died on my lips at the sight of their faces, wreathed in suspicion and loathing. "Traitor," someone hissed, a soldier who had served under Wenji's command in the Eastern Sea. "Were you planning to desert us all this time, while you were eating your meals in Captain's tent?" "Why are you here?" another cried out. "Go back to the demons where you belong." A chorus of agreement rose from the rest. They were not all strangers to me. I recognized several whom I had trained with, others from Wenji's troop. We had battled together, my arrows working in unison with their swords and spears. I didn't know what I expected. There would have been surprise, of course, questions to be sure. But once I explained myself, would they not be glad for my escape? Yet all I saw now were the hostile glares of tightly clutched weapons. In the tumult I had almost forgotten the rumors Wenji had spread. How easily they had believed those lies of me. "You fools!" a familiar voice rang out. It was Shuzhao, pushing her way through the crowd, her long hair tucked into a gilded helmet. My spirits lifted, though I dared not run to her. I dared not taint her with my intimacy. Yet she had no qualms linking her arm through mine. "Don't believe everything you hear, especially if it comes from the demon realm. Prince Li Wei told us that Xingyin was abducted. She would never have gone there of her own will. Xu Zhao muttered from my ears alone. At least you better not have, she added. You really should have let me come with you to find the dragons. You might have had far less trouble. I wish I had, I said with feeling. She squeezed my arm a little tighter before releasing it. Are you all right? I am now. We were not out of danger, but it struck me that I was free. With sudden clarity, I realized how precious such a feeling was, how easily it might be taken away, and how much their captivity had cost my mother and the dragons. The crowd of soldiers parted as Li Wei strode toward me, halting a step away. His white gold armor gleamed, a cloak of scarlet brocade flowing from his shoulders. No words sprang to my tongue, and I was content in this moment just to gaze upon him, safe, unharmed, alive. Slowly, as though awaking from a dream, Li Wei closed the distance between us and folded me into his arms. His armor pressed into my skin, but I clung to him in selfish indulgence, the warmth of his embrace driving away my distress and terror, thawing the coolness which had sprung up between us. In that moment, I had no thought for the impending danger or the Emperor's wrath, until a cough startled me, a reminder of the watchful soldiers surrounding us. Li Wei's arms fell away as I took a quick step back. What happened? Who is Wenji? He wanted to know. The Demon King's son. Even now the claim sounded obscene to my ears. Xu Zhao's breath whistled out. Captain Wenji? A demon? But aren't you and he? She cast a furtive look at Li Wei. Impossible. Our wards would never have permitted a demon to enter, he declared. He told me the wards are no longer as strong as before, and his own powers are formidable. I recalled his pupils, shining silvered gems. He had not stooped to controlling me through such despicable means, but after what I had done, he might not exercise such restraint again. What did he want? Li Wei said grimly, though I can well imagine. The pearls, to secure his position as heir. I did not elaborate. The other things he had said, those were between us alone. Li Wei's jaw tightened, his throat working as though he was stopping himself from asking more. Wait, I must show you something. I grasped my energy, such relief to feel my senses sharpening again. The power flowing from me in a shimmering current to dispel the demon army's enchantment. Just 100 paces away, the land shivered like a wind-tossed lake. Gold morphed to violet, sand churning into a cloud. A false border, Li Wei rasped, such horror in his tone. A trap, to get you to break the treaty. If we did, they could have retaliated without fear or repercussion. They would have caught us unaware. We're not prepared for battle. Our presence here was intended as a diversion while we searched for you. Me? I repeated in disbelief. The Emperor would never have commanded the army to march on my behalf, unless it was to haul me back to face his wrath. His mouth lifted in a wry grin. For father, the imperative is to retrieve the pearls, of course. Yet for me there is no other reason than you. A tenderness bloomed within me, as precious and frail as the first sunshine after winter's frost. We had trod this path so many times before. Just as I believed the door shut, it creaked open once more, but I would not read too much into his words. He would have done no less for Princess Feng Mei. I would guard myself better this time. I was weary of heartache. How did you escape? Li Wei asked. I smiled at him, my first real one since I had been taken. Do you remember the star lilies from our lesson when you gave me the answer which saved me from a scolding? That morning in the Chamber of Reflection felt like a lifetime ago. Fortunately, you were a conscientious student. I would not have known about them otherwise. He nodded, though somewhat uncertainly. I used them to put Wenji to sleep. A taut silence fell over us. If he wondered how I had done it, how I enticed Wenji into drinking the potion, he did not ask. I was not sure I would have told him in any case. It's a shame you didn't have any aconite for a more lasting slumber. His eyes flashed dangerously bright as his fingers brushed the swelling on my temple and the cuts on my cheek and lip with aching tenderness. As he took my hand, his energy flowed into me with tingling warmth, the last of my discomfort vanishing. Did he hurt you? He ground out. No, it was his brother. My stomach roiled, nauseated by the memory of Prince Wensheng's flesh against mine, his breath on my neck. Xu Zhao wrapped an arm around me in silent comfort, perhaps sensing my distress. Li Wei's hands balled into fists, This is my fault. His soldiers attacked me. I could not dispatch them quickly enough. You were gone. Only later did I discover where you were. I'm sorry for not finding you sooner. I escaped. I'm unharmed, as are you, I said, trying to banish our unease. And I have the pearls. That is what matters. The air stirred, churning with power, rolling in from the west, where the demon realm lay. Terror engulfed me as I grabbed Li Wei's arm. It was not over. We must leave, now. Wen Shi's army is close. Once you cross the border, they plan to unleash an enchanted mist upon your army, one which would confound us. He'll stop at nothing to retrieve the pearls. This far out, who would know the truth? Without witness, Wen Shi can claim anything he wants. I cursed myself for not thinking of this earlier. Li Wei whirled, calling for his commanders, soldiers dispatched in search of them. After a brief wait, 3 generals hurried toward us, the sunlight gleaming off their helmets, adorned with thick tassels of red silk. They were older than Li Wei, one of them distinguished-looking immortal with white streaks in his hair, General Liu Tan, who had often sent his soldiers to observe my archery practices in the field. As one, they bowed to Li Wei, their palms covering their fists. This is an ambush. Gather the troops, make for home at once, he spoke with firm authority. The general's eyes slid to me, creased with suspicion. I lifted my chin higher, suppressing the urge to flinch. I had done nothing wrong. I had risked my life to warn them. The shorter of the 3 stepped forward. Your Highness, where did you hear this? Your father's command was that we remain at the border until we retrieve the dragon pearls. Li Wei's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. First Archer Xing Yin brought us this news. Someone snorted. I did not know who. General Liu Tan cast an accusing glare my way before saying, Your Highness, we ask you to exercise caution. She is a spy for the demon realm. I am no spy, I said as steadily as I could, though their scorn and disbelief seared me. Those lies were spread to keep the demon realm blameless for the theft of the pearls. I might as well have said nothing for all the good it did. General Liu Tan's expression remained unchanged as he added, Your Highness, spies are most skilled at protecting their innocence. Your father— Enough, Li Wei interjected, his tone as sharp as a blade. I trust First Archer Xing Yin with my life, which she has saved more than once. Do you defy my command, General Liu Tan? The general's face turned a sickly gray. All 3 of them sank to their knees at once. We will obey, Your Highness. Li Wei gestured for them to rise with a jerk of his hand. There's little time to lose. The demons will release a mist to confound us. Do not attack unless necessary. Conserve your troops' energy for flight and to shield themselves. The shields must be strong and woven tight. The generals did not look my way as I spoke. Anger flashed through me, but I plunged onward, ignoring their contempt. Flight is the safest way, though the mist can be cleansed with wind or rain. Don't inhale it. Just a single breath is enough to muddle you. My voice faltered at the memory of my own disorientation and how I had almost attacked the dragon. General Liu Tan hesitated. The pearls, Your Highness. What of them? Could this be a trick so we will leave empty-handed? I have them, I said, impatient to silence his doubts, yet regretting the words when I caught the gleam in his eyes. Not for much longer if we don't make haste. Spread the word. No more than 2 or 3 to a cloud. Speed is essential, Li Wei ordered. The generals bowed before turning away, almost running in their haste. Li Wei, we should go too, I urged. Not till the camp is cleared, but you must leave with the pearls, he told me gravely. My fingers grazed my silk pouch. I did not want to leave Li Wei here in danger, but he was right. I could not let Wen Ji take the pearls again. I had undertaken this burden, and it was mine to bear. Be careful. Don't take too long, or I'll come back for you, I said more fiercely than intended. Is that a promise or a threat? The corner of his lip quirked into a crooked smile. I confess, my pride will be sorely wounded if you save me again. Better wounded than dead. My light tone masked my fear, but I trusted him to look after himself, and greater things than us were at stake. Clouds swooped down from above as celestial soldiers leapt onto them, taking flight into the heavens. I exhaled with relief, but when a familiar syrupy sweetness drifted into my nostrils, I swung around, my body clenching in terror. We were out of time.